tales of wonder. The stars say hi. A world full of dreams. Come give it.
Oh my, those castle steps still love to collect dust. Hello, my dear adventurers, and welcome to Adventures with Fairy Godmother, Episode 2. I'm Fairy Godmother, and I'm so glad you're here. We're here in the castle gardens of Alarandor, where flowers bloom in every season. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever seen a flower growing somewhere unexpected? Maybe in a crack in the sidewalk or in a quiet corner of a garden. In Alarandor, that might just be the work of the flower fairies, where the forests of Alarandor open into meadows and sunlit clearings. The air grows warm and fragrant. This is where the flower fairies make their home, moving among blossoms, grasses, and flowering vines. The flower fairies glow with color: soft pinks, bright golds, gentle purples, and fresh greens. Their presence brings life to the land, but their purpose goes far beyond beauty. They believe flowers are a sign of balance, signaling that the land is healthy and cared for. Each morning, the flower fairies decide which flowers will bloom and which will wait. Some blossoms are meant to be open early to welcome insects. Others are saved for special seasons or celebrations. Some are allowed to grow unnoticed, simply because the land needs them where they are. They guide seeds to places where color has faded and help plants grow strong enough to survive wind, rain, and changing seasons. When flowers grow too thick in one place, they gently thin them so the soil can breathe. During gatherings in Alarandor, the flower fairies prepare the land. They weave garlands, scatter petals along paths, and create living designs that slowly return to the earth. Nothing they make is meant to last forever. To the flower fairies, beauty is not excess. It is balance made visible. In today's episode, as in others, we have a few magical moments to share together. First, we'll see what's new in the What's New news report with me and you. Then we'll open our birthday shoutouts. After that, we'll have some fun with my new fairies rap song. And finally, we'll head to the library for story time, where we'll continue our journey with Aurelia and Flamewing. So let's begin with something new. It's time for the What's New news report with me and you. I've been on a few wonderful travels in the last few months, and I'm so excited to share my adventures in London and Portugal with you. Let's take a look.
New, what's new news report with me and you. It's time to see what's new today. With me and you, hip hip hooray. We'll laugh and learn, explore with glee, trying new things so happily. What's new, what's new, what's new to do? We'll share the joy, me and you. It's the What's New news report. With me and you, we won't fall short. Discover wonders bright and true. Every day is fresh and new. Adventures wait just out of sight. New ideas will shine so bright. Together we'll make memories, yeah, of all the joys that we can see. What's new, what's new, what's new to do? We'll share the joy, me and you. It's the What's New news report. With me and you, we won't fall short. Discover wonders bright and true. Every day is fresh and new. What's new to do? Ooh, we'll share the joy, me and you. It's the What's New.
And those were my latest adventures. What joy it gave me to see people smile and want to take pictures. It was just tremendous. And remember, if you've tried something new, you can share it with me. Maybe you've learned to ride a bike. Maybe you learned to write your name. Maybe you tried a new food, read your first book by yourself, or helped someone in a brand new way. If you've done something new, visit my website with your grown-up and go to the Stories and Magic page. There you'll find the What's New button. There's a special form for your grown-up to fill out so you can send it in. Very soon, we'll start sharing your adventures right here in the What's New News Report with me and you. Now let's celebrate something special. It's time for our birthday shoutouts. If your birthday is coming up, visit my website with your grown-up and go to the Stories and Magic page again. You'll find the birthday shoutout button there. There's a special form for your grown-up to fill out with your name and your birthday. And then I'll celebrate you right here on the episodes. I can't wait to start celebrating our adventures. I can't wait to hear from you to share your adventures and your birthdays. Now, before we head to the library for our special story, it's time for you to hear my special new rap song. Today, I'm playing the karaoke version so you can sing along at home. And if you'd like to practice it anytime, you can find it on my website with your grown-ups' permission. Are you ready? Let's go.
My name is Fairy Godmother. I fly through the sky. I'm always sprinkling magic as I go by. Wings that shimmer, dress that glows. Where I'm headed, no one knows. Sparkle, sparkle, fairy light, shining stars in the sky so bright. Fairy Godmother leads the way in her kingdom every day. Fairy Godmother leads the way in her kingdom every day. Fairy Godmother leads the way in her kingdom every day. I sing with flowers, I talk to trees, I ride on moonbeams and dance on breeze. My crown is made of silver dew, and all the fairies follow too. I help the sun rise and paint the skies. I teach young fairies how to fly. With the flick of my wand and a fairy kiss, I fill the world with happiness. Hey, to sparkle, sparkle, fairy light, shining stars in the sky so bright. Fairy Godmother leads the way in her kingdom every day. Fairy Godmother leads the way in her kingdom every day. Fairy Godmother wise and true, the fairy world believes in you.
I hope you loved it as much as I did. Wasn't it magical? Now let's quiet our wings and head to the library. We'll go to my favorite place in the castle, where it's cozy and perfect for magical stories. Welcome to the library. Before we begin our story, it's time for our Find the Object challenge. In every episode, I hide a few special objects somewhere around the room. As you watch, see how many you can find and try to remember what they were. When the episode is over, you can visit my website with your grown-up, scroll to the bottom of the homepage and click on Contact. You'll see a few options there. Choose Get in Touch. There's a message box where your grown-up can help you send me your answers. Tell me how many objects you found and what they were. And when you send it in, I'll send you a special Fairy Godmother gift package for getting it right. I can't wait to see who spots them all. Now, let's begin our story. Last time, Aurelia and Flamewing were born. Today's chapter is called The Wind Beyond the Grove. So adventurers, wands ready, hearts open, get cozy, and let's begin the story. Years passed in peace and golden sunlight, and fairy Princess Aurelia grew in both kindness and wisdom. She learned how to calm storms, how to sing to the seeds so they would sprout in even the driest soil, and how to comfort dragons with nothing more than her voice and the gentle glow from her wings. Ah, yes, her wings. When Aurelia was just a tiny baby, her wings were small and almost clear, shimmering like morning frost. But now, as she blossomed into a graceful young fairy princess, they had grown strong and full and more magical than anyone had ever seen. They glowed with soft, shifting colors that changed with her feelings. Green was when she was peaceful, violet when lost in deep wonder, and gold when she felt brave. And oh, how often she was brave. Beside her grew her best friend Flamewing, a dragon born under a silver moon. Flamewing was just a little hatchling when they first met, no bigger than a loaf of bread, though admittedly a bit pokier. Now he had grown into a magnificent dragon with scales that glittered like the morning sky and wings that swept across the clouds with a gentle whisper. His breath was warm like a summer evening, and he could use it to light beacons on the highest hills or warm the hands of shivering travelers lost in the woods. Everyone agreed Flamewing was mighty and gentle in equal measure. Their friendship was a marvel throughout the kingdom. If one dreamed, the other smiled in their sleep. If one laughed, the other undoubtedly joined in moments later. They were meant for each other, like two notes in a melody, only they could hear. Princess Aurelia and Flamewing traveled beyond their kingdom's walls often. She helped plant beautiful gardens in springtime, blessed the ships before they sailed, and sang songs that floated on the winds and erased the worries of all who listened. From the smallest flower sprite to the oldest village elder, all the people of Alarandor adored Aurelia, not just for the magic she could do, but for the love she shared. But peace, as I often say, is like a butterfly. It must be cared for gently, or it can drift away. Whispers of change. Far beyond the rolling hills of the kingdom, past the silver-lined clouds and endless forest, stood the towering Silver Spine Mountains. And beyond even those mountains, there was a place very few dared to tread, a land called the Shadowlands. Dark things stirred there, quiet things. Little by little, the stars slowly began disappearing from the night sky. Streams that once danced over shiny stones became still and murky. Even the birds, those bright, cheerful creatures, fell silent. The Council of Elements, who watched over balance in all the lands, sent word through Lunara, Aurelia's fairy godmother, and it was she who brought the news of this troubling change to the young fairy princess. With her silver wand shimmering under the moonlight, Fairy Godmother Lunara appeared one evening near the sacred grove. Aurelia and Flamewing were practicing flight and song together when Lunara arrived, her moon silk robes flowing like water in the wind. Her voice, calm but serious, echoed through the grove. Her silver wand shimmered as she spoke. "It is time, my child of harmony. Where balance fades, you must go and help the world remember its song." At once Aurelia understood. The world needed her, and she would not let it fall into silence. The farewell was held at dawn the very next morning. inside the grand throne room of Alarandor Castle. Sunlight poured in through tall crystal windows, setting the silver banners aglow. The room shimmered with colors from every facet of the polished moonstone floors. The air felt still and noble, like time itself was holding its breath. Princess Aurelia stood at the center of the room, dressed in a cloak woven from wind and water, enchanted silk that flowed like the softest breeze. Gentle armor made from living bark and shining leaf metal hugged her shoulders and wrists, humming with protective magic from the enchanted trees of the grove. King Thalon and Queen Alira stood on either side of their daughter, each holding one of her hands tenderly. Courtiers and villagers, kind souls who'd come to love the princess, gathered quietly behind the thrones, offering their presence and heartfelt support. Queen Alira stepped forward and wrapped her daughter in a long, loving embrace. "You were born for this, my shining one," she whispered, tears sparkling in her eyes. "Remember, even harmony must sometimes be brave." King Thalon then placed a glowing crystal amulet around Aurelia's neck. It pulsed softly with age-old light. "This will guide you when shadows try to confuse your heart," he said with pride. "No matter where your journey takes you, Alarandor will always be with you." Then Fairy Godmother Lunara appeared beside her. She knelt and placed her silver hand over Aurelia's heart. "Your magic isn't only inside you, my dear," she said gently. "It lives in your kindness, in courage, and in Flamewing's heart." Flamewing stepped forward. Slowly, Aurelia climbed atop his soft, glowing scales. The dragon opened his wings wide, filling the throne room with a gust of enchanted air. The massive doors opened on their own, by the will of the wind. With a final wave and a promise in her eyes, Aurelia held Flamewing tightly. They rose together in a burst of silver flame and autumn-colored light, leaving trails in the sky that shimmered like starlight behind them. The journey begins. Their first destination was the Whispering Vales, a land of rolling hills where the wind itself carried secrets and old songs. When they arrived, Aurelia and Flamewing found a valley that had once flourished, now cracked and dry. No rain had fallen in months. Aurelia stepped gently from Flamewing's back and placed her hands on the brittle earth. She closed her eyes and sang a single soft note, just loud enough for the wind to carry. Flamewing curled around her, adding his dragon fire in a gentle spiral of warmth. The clouds gathered, the winds shifted, and rain began to fall in shining silver threads. The flowers blossomed, the streams flowed again, and the valley, with a sigh of life renewed, bloomed once more. From there, they flew to the Crystal Fen, a misty swamp filled with glittering lights and half-forgotten spirits. A lonely stone guardian stood there, cracked and moss-covered, weeping silent tears of river water. Aurelia listened to its cries. She knelt, looking deep beneath the swamp's silvery water. There, hidden under shimmering lily paths, she found the missing heartstone. She placed it back into the guardian's chest. With a final smile, the guardian bowed in gratitude and lifted into the night sky in a burst of crystal and moonlight, its duty finally complete. Everywhere they went, Aurelia brought balance and peace. But something tugged gently at her heart, a soft call from the east, growing stronger each day. The Dreaming Cliff. One starlit night, Flamewing soared toward the Dreaming Cliff, where the wind roared loudly and whispered secrets from the future. They settled quietly along the cliff's edge, Aurelia closed her eyes and felt the stars' light soak into her wings. In her dream, a boy appeared, made of shadow and sorrow. His eyes were dark but not cruel. He said, "You are light, and I am what light leaves behind. But we are not enemies, not yet." When Aurelia awoke, the stars seemed dimmer and a hush had fallen across the land, like the world was holding its breath. "Come, my friend," she whispered to Flamewing, running a gentle hand down his neck. "The world needs its song again." With powerful wings and hearts full of purpose, they flew east toward the unknown. Return to Alarandor. When the first part of their journey came to an end, Aurelia and Flamewing returned to their kingdom, soaring over glowing towers and winding river paths. Bells rang out, echoing from every turret. The people below cheered and waved handkerchiefs in every color of the realm. Fairy Godmother Lunara stood waiting in the royal courtyard, her wand glowing with joy. "You have brought harmony wherever you've gone," she said warmly. "The world remembers its song because of you." With a soft landing and wings folded respectfully, Flamewing came to rest beside the palace gates. Aurelia dismounted with grace and pride, greeted by cheers that rose like music through the air. Their people surrounded them, children laughing, elders smiling, shimmering lanterns drifting into the evening sky. The kingdom cheered for their heroes, home once more in glorious triumph. To be continued. I hope you enjoyed our story. Before we say goodbye today, I have a few questions for you. Do you think Aurelia was scared? Do you think Flamewing was scared? And what makes you think that? Have you ever felt scared, but still did something brave anyway? What helped you? Do you think using magic makes something easier, or does it sometimes make things harder? If you were standing beside Aurelia, what would you have said to her? And if you had one magical gift, how would you choose to use it? You don't have to answer all of them. Maybe just pick one or two and talk about them with your grown-up or a friend. Stories aren't just meant to be heard, they're meant to be thought about. Thank you for joining me for episode 2. Next time, we'll enjoy our regular segments, find out more about the fairy and folk of Alarandor, and of course, the continuing adventures of Aurelia and Flamewing in Chapter 3. Until next time, keep wondering, keep exploring, and remember, everyone needs a fairy godmother. Fairy blessings.